Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this Submissions Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire held on the 12th of May 2026. Start with the opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders past and present. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed, with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and/or sensitive information. I note 6 councillors are present and have an apology from Councillor McCrickard. Move to item 3.3, the confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the Submissions Committee meeting held on the 14th of April 2026. Do I have a mover? Councillor Howard. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hudgell. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Douche, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shramps. Carried 6-0. Thanks, councillors. Declarations of interest. Are there any? Any declarations? No. I have a declaration of interest on item 5.2. Planning permit 1242024-1 Malaric Road. I do work for the applicant, landholders and some of the speakers and objectors for this matter. No other conflicts? No. Move on to the verbal submissions from submitters. Council appreciates the community submissions on today's agenda items and values the effort put into both written and in-person contributions. Councillors review all submissions thoroughly and find them very useful. Today, people can restate or highlight parts of their submissions. I'll now read the names of the registered speakers. Please raise your hand when your name is called. Joseph Zillick, David Coventry, Thomas Davis, Paul Armour, Paul, no, Richard Stevenson online, thanks, Robert Earl, thanks. Scott Stewart. No. Please note that this committee will hear submissions today, but no decisions will be made at this meeting. A decision on this matter will be made at a later meeting. Now we move on to the items on the agenda. 5.1, Colac Otway Shire football, soccer facilities feasibility study. We have 3 people who have requested to speak to their submissions. Note that there is 5 minutes maximum for each speaker. I'll give you a notification when you're at 4 minutes. Firstly, invite Joseph Zillick to address the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor, councillors and members of the Submissions Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Joseph Zillick. I'm here on behalf of Football Victoria, and I want to acknowledge the respectful and considered process councillors put in place for this feasibility study. Football Victoria welcomes the study. It is a thorough, evidence-based and aligns strongly with Football Victoria's facility strategy. Beyond the planning, the study reflects the lived reality of football in Colac Otway. Participation is growing faster than infrastructure. Current facilities don't meet minimum standards. Football receives inequitable access compared to other field sports, and without a dedicated home, the sport cannot meet community demand. The study captures this accurately, and we appreciate that. The Colac Otway Rovers Football Club current situation sees the players are playing stocks have grown from 35 players to 180 in the last 3 years, and on top of that, another 40 mini-roos joining in Term 2. Teams have increased from 2 to 12, including senior women and junior girls. They have used 4 different venues in 3 seasons. Football is a secondary user everywhere it trains or plays. Facilities don't meet gender inclusive or FV minimum standards. Volunteers maintain Beark Recreation Reserve, and the club's main home is approximately 20 kilometres outside of Colac. These are not small inconveniences, they are barriers, particularly for women, juniors, and called migrant families and new residents who rely on predictable, safe and local facilities. Football Victoria wants to acknowledge that the club's effort, their commitment to community is remarkable, but it comes at a cost. Volunteer burnout, logistical strain for moving equipment around from one location to another, and the constant challenge of trying to build a community club without a community home. Football participation in Victoria since 2022 has grown 57%. Female and mini-roos participation more than 73%, and the Colac Otway Shire has recorded an 89% increase in participation in that time. This is not a temporary spike, it's a constant trend. And importantly, called and migrant communities are a major contributor to this growth. ABS and community data show that 10.2% of Colac Otway residents were born overseas. Called migrant families are increasingly settling in the region for work, affordability and community connection. Football is the world's most played and most watched sport. In many countries, it is the primary sport, the cultural heartbeat of communities. Because of this, football plays a unique role in Australia. It is often the first sport called and migrant families feel comfortable joining. It provides a familiar, safe entry point into Australian community life, and it helps residents build friendships and build local culture and to feel a sense of belonging. It is a sport where language is not a barrier, the game itself is the common language. In regional areas like Colac Otway, football is often the bridge that helps new families connect and settle and move in. The study is correct, the Shire will require 2 to 3 rectangular fields in the medium term. Football Victoria supports the staged approach that Council has outlined in the study, and the first steps being managing existing access, exploring agreements at Trinity College, and exploring access to Central Reserve Main and lighting at Colac Secondary College. These are sensible early actions. We support them, but note that the interim access arrangements are helpful, but they cannot meet the long-term demands of a growing club. Most first-step options are necessary, but they're not a solution. Interim actions like lighting upgrades and increased access to fields or even short-term scheduling adjustments will help stabilise clubs, but they don't address the fundamental issue here in football. For football in Colac Otway has outgrown the current network. Interim measures keep the club going, but they don't give it a home. Football Victoria supports the strategic findings of the study.
It's got 1 minute.
Sorry? Okay, thank you. Stage 1, the building of the hub at the former Colac High School site, including stage 1 with synthetic lighting, synthetic field with lighting, a natural turf field, compliant change rooms, and basic pavilion infrastructure. A dedicated hub will reduce the operational burden on volunteers, provide a safe and inclusive environment, including women, girls, and all abilities, enable Colac to host tournaments. This aligns with Football Victoria's and G21's football strategy, with Colac Otway's 2050 Community Infrastructure Plan and Fair Access Policy for gender-inclusive facilities. The long-term plan will help ensure the future generations have access to local rectangular fields, and the club can expand sustainably, and the Shire can address the current infrastructure gap. Football Victoria is committed to supporting Council with technical guidance and partnering with state and local government for advocacy. Aligning this project with Level the Playing Field campaign and supporting the club through transitions into a future hub. In closing, Football Victoria appreciates the opportunity to contribute to this process and to speak today. We look forward to continuing to work with Council, Colac Otway's Rovers and the broader community as this important project progresses. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for your submission. I'll now invite David Coventry up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councillors, council officers and community members. My name is David Coventry and I'm currently serving as the Secretary of Colac Otway Rovers AFC. I make our club submission today on behalf of more than 200 registered players aged between 4 and 64. Our club's experienced extraordinary growth, a 340% increase in 3 seasons. We now field 12 teams in 2026, and 2 of these are all female. Right now, our club is spread across 3 separate venues: BAC Recreation Reserve, the Central Reserve Hockey Fields and Western Reserve. None of these provide the consistent, reliable home base that a club of our size now requires. The day-to-day impact on our volunteers, players and families is significant. At BAC, our match day venue, volunteers are responsible for watering, mowing, line marking, supplying and installing goals. The club's invested over $50,000, largely through a Tiny Towns grant, and the donation of in-kind machinery and materials to regenerate the surface. And BAC remains a non-council managed facility, and the club puts an enormous amount of work into maintaining the surface and trying to improve it. At Western Reserve, our main training venue, we're a secondary tenant. We're working well and enjoy the generosity of support of Colac Imperials Football and Netball Club, and it's a good relationship. We're doing everything we can to thrive, but potentially I believe this model is not sustainable. The draft report suggests interim actions exploring access to Trinity College, Colac Secondary College and Central Reserve. Each of these options comes with its own limitations. Trinity College synthetic pitch is an amazing surface. Junior use through 2024, when we had 3 junior teams, worked really well. This year with 9 junior teams, access and excessive use is something that we haven't followed up with the school, given that it's a much bigger task with 9 junior teams as opposed to 3. It also lacks change facilities and couldn't be used as a senior match day venue either, based on FV's rules. The Colac Secondary College is heavily booked by cricket in summer and football in winter, and the club doesn't have a user agreement currently, so it limits our access and availability to use the surface. And Central Reserve Main Oval is a premium facility. Availability is extremely limited, and as a secondary tenant to another winter sport, there's limited opportunities to use that facility. Our club would support lighting upgrades at the Central Reserve Hockey Fields. However, the current master plan within that development at Central Reserve would mean that there's more money and more facilities being focused in areas away from perhaps our bigger goal. In summary, aside from the exploration of the use of Central Reserve, the interim steps all require little investment from council to find or help us find a venue to play and train. Which brings us to the football hub. We strongly support the recommended option 1C, a district level soccer hub with a synthetic pitch, interim grass field, appropriate change rooms, storage, first aid, pathways and parking. This is the option that generally meets the needs of the club and the broader community. A dedicated hub will immediately reduce the operational burden on volunteers, improve player development and provide a stable foundation for our long-term growth. It allows us to give equal space to senior men, senior women, junior boys and girls, all abilities programs, walking football and other programs. It will also unlock major economic and community benefits. With a suitable facility, Colac could host pre-season and post-season tournaments, much like the Basketball Association at Bluewater. Events that bring millions of dollars into local business and council facilities. Colac's perfectly positioned between Warrnambool, Ballarat and Geelong to become a regional football hub. As the saying goes, if you build it, they will come. Perhaps in this instance, we should ask, how do you eat an elephant? One mouthful at a time. So let's get started. We believe this project addresses a critical shortage of investment in recreation space within the Shire. Many existing facilities do not meet modern participation needs. A football hub is not just a club project, it's a community project. An investment in health, inclusion and regional identity. Councillors, this is a once in a generation opportunity to deliver a facility that supports participation, community health, inclusion and regional identity. You have the you have the opportunity to deliver something transformative to the Colac Otway Shire. Our club's ready to work collaboratively with you. Thank you for your time today, and go Rovers.
Thank you, David. I'll now invite Thomas Davis up. Thank you.
Can you hear me all right? Hi, I'm Thomas, current Vice President and long-term member. I first got involved in soccer when I was 14. At the time, no junior team, no home venue. 12 years later, now 9 junior teams and still no home venue. It's always been a goal of mine and others at club executive level to do what we can to ensure we can provide a football experience or product for future generations to enjoy. I'd say we're doing something right as we field 12 teams this year. While we are controlling what we can to achieve this, what we cannot control is the development of a forever home. When I first joined the club aged 14, the conversation first in-house, but then following years it became a local issue as to where and when a soccer venue in Colac will be. From formation to today, it's taken 15 years to get to a feasibility study. And I'd like to go on the record and acknowledge and thank previous councillors, officers and club members for their advocacy and contributions in getting to this stage. Just this year, we realigned the goals at BAC Rec Reserve to expand the capacity and fit a junior pitch as well as a senior pitch. We're doing the best we can with what we've got. Today, I stand before you, the councillors of the day, and urge you to vote to endorse the feasibility study for a soccer-specific venue in Colac, specifically option 1C. And I'll leave you with this nugget. Colac is the only club in regional Victoria whose ground is located outside of the town in which it takes its name. Thanks.
Thanks, Thomas. Thanks to all the speakers and to all the submitters who submitted in writing. Thanks for taking the time. There's an officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter? Yeah, seconded. Councillor Howard. Councillor Potter as a mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd just like to thank everyone for participating today. We've had a lot of submissions. I do thank the rep from Football Victoria for coming to Colac. I think that highlights the interest and the support for football in this region, and can assure you councillors understand how important this is to many, many people in the community and supporting bodies across the region as well. So I guess we've got to look at what it is the next step, but we're not deciding that today, but this is about we're hearing you, and thank you for your submission.
Thank you. Councillor Howard as the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I reiterate Councillor Potter's words, but also I enjoyed the passion and of the speakers today, and as well as the well thought out submissions that you make. I don't know what an elephant tastes like, but I know it would take a long time to eat, but hopefully this won't take as long. But thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? Thanks, everyone. I did enjoy the confusion around football and soccer, and I'm a soccer man. There's a football man and a soccer man there. And we've got soccer in brackets, so I think football's slowly starting to win the argument, particularly in Colac. But thanks to all the submitters. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you. We'll move now to item 5.2. I have a conflict of interest on this matter, so I'll hand over to the Deputy Mayor while I vacate the room. Thank you.
Now we move to item 5.2, PP 124/2024-1 365 Mulrick Road, Ombersley. If I pronounce that wrong, I apologise. Stone processing facility. We have, I believe, 4 people who have requested to speak to their submissions. So I will invite Paul Armour to address the committee by video conference. You have 5 minutes, Paul. We can't hear you, Paul. You might be on mute.
Yep, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just here in support of Mount Jellybrand Bluestone. I'm Paul Armour. I run High Tide Landscapes based in Torquay, but we work all along the coast and Geelong area. We have 3 or more employees at a time. And to have a local supplier is extremely beneficial for me, saving me both time and money for driving and securing stone from distant suppliers, mostly over 2 hours away. So to have someone close by is extremely beneficial, where we spend a lot of obtaining stone is a large part of my business. So relationships with local suppliers is always my preferred option. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for keeping to the time too. I invite Richard Stevenson to address the committee by video conference. You have 5 minutes, Richard.
Thank you, and hello to all, and thank you for the opportunity to present today. My name is Richard Stevenson. I'm a strategic planner with Hanson Partnership, and I represent the permit applicant in relation to this matter. I just wanted to cover off on some key matters for consideration, and in terms of background, the proposal to date has had a bit of a complex history, and it did include prior enforcement action, which I wanted to acknowledge. But those enforcement issues have been resolved between the proponent's lawyer and council, and the activities on site ceased by agreement in January of this year. The current application now seeks to formalise proposed activities on the land as per the amended application, and the amended application, which is coming up for a decision with council, is a greatly improved and well-resolved proposal compared to the originally lodged application. Now, to talk of Hanson's involvement, Hanson Partnership were engaged following the completion of the public notification process on the original application. And when I became involved in the project, my role was to basically assess the details of the proposal, respond to issues raised by objections, and work on a revised application to be relodged with council. So the details that I'll talk to today are the specifics of the amended application, which I've had carriage of. The proposal relates to the subject site, but only a very small part of it, an area of around 2 hectares. The area of the site previously accommodated the construction compound of the adjacent wind farm, meaning the proposed application doesn't remove any of the site from productive farming activity. The balance of the land amounts to in the order of 200 hectares. It doesn't form part of this application, and it is actively used for farming purposes with livestock grazing. Other details of the application. The proposal offers an ordered site layout within an existing fenced area, and there'll be appropriate landscaping planted around the buildings. Independent traffic advice was sought as part of the proposal, and that work was able to confirm the existing road conditions, the internal shared access roads, and general site layout, which can accommodate car and truck movements as proposed. And the traffic engineer concluded that the traffic volumes generated by the proposal are low and can be easily accommodated without issue. To talk a little of the proposed use itself, it is one that I would classify as being modest in scope. It has a maximum of 4 staff. It operates between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Saturday, and the truck deliveries and collections from the site amount to 15 deliveries a month and 12 collections per month. So it's a relatively low intensive scale operation. Stone is proposed to be cut and processed on site, which is to be trucked to the property from external sources. Stone cutting is to exclusively occur within a proposed building, which will functionally mitigate noise and dust issues. It's also important to highlight that the stone cutting doesn't use any chemicals during its process. It also relies on a wet blade with water cutting process, which effectively mitigates dust. And in terms of questions of EPA works approvals, the EPA have confirmed that no approval from the EPA is required. I just wanted to touch on the location of the site. It's in an area where it's co-located with other non-agricultural uses, and that includes the adjacent wind farm as well as the Birregurra quarry, which is located to the south. The site also benefits from access to the Princes Freeway, which provides opportunity for processed stone to be distributed to the local market and beyond. Also importantly, the closest dwelling is in the order of 2.1 kilometres away to the northeast. To briefly touch on the issues raised by objections, the original application...
Did you only have 15 seconds, so you have to make it fast?
Sure. The objections have been addressed through the details of the application. We've come to an agreement with Acciona, the operators of the Gellibrand wind farm, through suggested permit conditions. We believe that the application has appropriately responded to all issues raised through the original objections received. Will provide positive benefit to the local economy through employment and additional benefit to local business, both trucking and landscape. And based on the considerations put forward, I believe the application warrants support of council. Thank you for your time. I would be happy to respond to any specific questions if you had any. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. I invite... I'll just confirm Tim Stevenson is not coming, right? So I invite Robert Earl to address the committee in person. Robert, you have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. Thanks very much for the opportunity to talk. I'm Robert Earl. I'm the owner of RJ&CM Earl Civil Mechanical Constructions, and I'm a truck company. I also represent Jason Gambino. Jason is a truck company. He delivers the rock. We transport in and out of the rock. It's a good little job for us. We have 4 trucks. We have one that's allocated to just carting rock. It's got a Bisloy body on it. I've got 2 staff with me. I think that this is one of the better things about this is the training opportunities we have with carting the rock in, because it gives us the opportunity to start new drivers. They're looked after both ends. It gives them the confidence and the skill set they need to move onto a bigger company. It's very hard for people these days to get a job. To go and get a licence, which takes you 2 days and $1,000, but you can't get the experience, and that's what this job's really good at. It gives you the experience and a well-controlled environment. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the sore need. I do a lot of work at Winchelsea with the Arboretum group. We put a lot of trees and bits and pieces down. And the one thing that I do is I supply rocks for them to do to explain to people why things are getting done. It's very hard. It's very hard to pick these rocks up. If you want to get a sawn rock, you've got to drive to Port Fairy. You've got to drive to the other side of Melbourne, which is just a little statistic. Wholesome statistics say that in the 1990s, the average trip for a truck was 20 kilometres. Now the average trip for a truck is 80 kilometres because it's very hard to pick up local work and keep it local. So I think this proposal would be really good for decreasing the mileage that you need to do with the rocks. I think that to live in the basalt basin of Victoria and not have a saw there that can show the qualities of the rock is disappointing. So I'm in favour. Sorry, I'm in favour of this. I think it's very important. Very important for the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Thank you. I invite Scott Stewart to address the committee in person. Scott is here. No, Scott. Right. I'll invite the Mayor back in then to close the meeting. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Does any councillor wish to move a motion in relation to this item? There's an officer's recommendation. Councillor Potter as a mover. Have a seconder. Councillor Hudgell. Thank you. Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Chair. I'd just like to thank everyone for attending today and those who spoke to their submissions. This is not a decision-making forum today, but we consider what you put in front of us very carefully, and that will be dealt with down the track. But thanks again for coming. Appreciate it.
Councillor Hudgell.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy Mayor. Just to echo Councillor Potter's words and just thank everyone for being here today, taking the time out to be in the gallery, and thank you for the passion and the time that you've put into your submissions too. Thank you so much.
Any other councillors? No, then I just apologise for not being 100% good at the chair. I'm learning this role. Rightio, we now, councillors, we'll move for a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dadood, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard. That's carried 6-0. Now I might invite the Mayor back to close the meeting.
Thanks, councillors. That concludes the Submissions Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire. I declare this meeting closed at 2:03 p.m. Thank you, everybody.